Hi, my name is Joanie'S. Welcome to my channel. If you'd like to find out more about me, please go to my website, joanieswhitelightshealing.com. I do sessions for folks who are not local to North Central New Jersey by Skype, FaceTime, Facebook video, and phone. And for folks who are local to me, I do in person as well as the aforementioned. So, you could find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, and SoundCloud. You could find me on Facebook. Please like my Joanie'S White Light Healing fan page. And if you'd like to friend me, please message me and just let me know how you found me or how you know me, and I will friend you. I just don't friend strangers. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and press the all bell icon. You'll receive notifications of when I've put out a video. Like, share, and comment below. I love the feedback. I love to hear what you think of these videos. And if you have any requests for future themes, questions about something, not to do like one of these freebie readings that Joanie's just going to do, something where everyone can learn from your question. I bring in the highest of Christ light consciousness, meaning the ones that are of the highest vibration of love. I bring in ascended masters, archangels, angels, departed ones, guides, elementals, star beings, and consciousnesses. There are no timestamps to these videos, so when you watch it, it is meant for you. Spirit knows who will be watching and when. It is June 28th, 2020, so if you watch it past the 28th of June, 2020, it's all fine. Take what resonates, and I suggest shelving the rest. You might have an aha moment at another time. So, with that being said, what came up in a conversation among like-mindeds had to do with getting out of your mind, out of your head, and going into your heart, where the answers lie. So I'd like to do a video about heart knowing. We as a human species have become accustomed, have been trained or programmed to remain in our minds, where all thinking creates, manifests, accounts for conclusions that we make, that our mind is the place to go for all the answers. I believe that the mind is a terrible thing to waste, if those of you remember that commercial on TV a long time ago. But it's not to find one's truth. The mind is very analytic. The mind can also fly and be creative. It can be both. We also have ego involvement. Our self gets in the way, where there's judgment towards other and self, where there's criticism. Feelings oftentimes cloud thinking as well. So many times people get caught up in a hyperloop of analyzing, and they can't get out of it. And they believe not only are they to come up with conclusions from mind work, but if they haven't figured it out, they have to keep going over it again and again and again until they get it right. There are a lot of people that are stuck in their minds with these hyperloops of overanalysis. So it's like a trap. Why would we be programmed to remain in our thoughts, our heads, our minds? Why would we think that thinking is the be-all, end-all where answers lie? I'm a conspiracy kind of a gal. I have these ideas, folks, and I believe that we've been kept from knowing who we are, knowing that we are blessed God sparks, and that to be separated from our heart knowing by going up into our brains for thinking, into a third dimensional process rather than a more spiritual, etheric process, keeps us in a lower vibration, a third dimensional reality, and it tamps us from moving up to a crown chakra experience where we connect with the collective, with all that is. Again, why suppress humanity? Why keep us from going to our heart knowing? Subjugation, suppression of truth, enslavement. Many people are enslaved in their minds, and this is a terrible thing to waste. Therefore, I am here to offer you the result of what I've learned through my readings and watchings about the heart, and that the heart chakra, the heart, is a place where one can go to for answers. Some people say it's a gut. So when I say gut, I go to the solar plexus and that gut feeling that you have, that power center. But sometimes I'm equating that gut feeling really with the heart. So sometimes I kind of get confused myself, because that gut feeling that one has is that truth. But I believe it really ultimately is the heart chakra that's speaking, but there is a reverb of tightness and strength of the knowing that one feels in the solar plexus, which is the lower chakra below the heart chakra. So what I suggest folks to do first is just to consider that maybe the mind, the brain, isn't where one could access truth. It's a place to take information and process it. That's great. We weigh pros and cons. We talk things out. We think about it inside. We create and we go to that place with our mind. But in terms of the heart knowing, you can practice. It's pretty simple. For some, maybe not if they're very used to being in their head. But with practice, you get used to it, and then you rely on that way over and over again. So if you go to a quiet place and you sit and there are no distractions, noises, uncomfortable temperature, whether it's too cold or too hot, or a breeze of some sort that's just too much, something that would distract you. If there are kids that might come a-knocking at the door for your attention, wait until you are in a stillness where you wouldn't be distracted. And then you could close your eyes, or you could keep them open. Be comfortable. You could sit. I don't think standing really works with this, but some people might stand. I don't know what's best for you. And find a comfortable place. And then imagine, put the focus, the intention on your mind. And you could think for a while. You could even ask yourself a question. And it could be something that you've been wondering about, that you want to do. Should I change jobs? Do I break up with this person? Should I take that apartment? Whatever the case. And then go into your head and be with your mind and see what happens. You could stick with that for a while and then make note of it. Then pull out of that and then go back in and focus on your heart chakra. It's right in the center of your chest. It is the energy center that relates to love of self and love of other. And focus with intention on your heart chakra. And ask your heart, what do you know? What answer do you give me? If you have put white light protection around yourself during this exercise, so no darker, lower vibrations come in that can cloak themselves as your heart or your mind. If you have released fear and doubt, and you enter into this exercise with adventure and promise, the chances are you are going to hear something from your heart that will surprise you very, very much. If you have questions regarding how to do this, you can comment below. I'd really like to hear your feedback. I did this exercise after my veil was thinned and I was able to channel. Therefore, my heart did speak to me. And I asked it, I think I might have asked it what my nicknames were, and I got a whole long list of who I was, all of my names. I don't know what that process would be like for someone who is not psychic. What I do believe is that your answers will not be different from mine. as we all are hardwired the same way. So if your veil is thicker than mine, I still believe that you will be able to access your truths with the same facility as I am able to. Why would one want to access their heart knowing? Well, you're a spirit in a human body having a spiritual experience for soul growth opportunity. There's a veil that's over you and that you have forgotten. I'm just saying figuratively that you've never been separated from the collective, from the oneness, from the love ball that we all are. So a way that you can bridge this in traversing Earth School is by asking your heart questions, and you will come up with truths, and that your heart is your guide. Do guides and ascended masters and archangels and your higher self come through to speak when you address your heart chakra? Probably. Whatever the case, if you put protection around yourself and know that you are calling upon the highest of Christ's light and that you are able to do this, I believe that you will unlearn mental programming. You will unlearn the hyperloop wheel of thinking and analysis. You probably will have answers more readily available to you as a result of your checking in with your heart than if you checked in with your mind. Your heart is pure and it has no judgment. Your mind is where I believe the ego resides. Now, we all have an ego and we need an ego in order to discern. But the ego can play, and if a person has not worked through biases and prejudices and fears, judgments, anger and hate, etc., then the ego can taint answers. Whereas when one goes into their heart knowing, the truth, I believe, comes out with purity. If you find that there is hate that comes through when you address your heart, you have wounds, and that you need to address fears. Fears can come in the form of anger, envy, jealousy, contempt, rage, despair, sadness, grief. Better than, less than, hating on. And all of those things need to be addressed in order for the pure heart to release answers. I do believe still that when you access your heart chakra, your answers will be purer and clearer, and you will find that the direction that you lead yourself is higher and will show you more positive outcomes. I'm going to go in and see whether Spirit has anything to add to this. So here we go. Well, Spirit is saying that your greatness relies in the truth that is your heart. So your greatness and your purity is where your heart is, as you are love. Therefore, when you access the heart, you are in your strength and your purity. Your mind taints and your heart bleeds with love. You can cower around issues when your mind is trying to figure things out, whereas your heart appears to be more bold. And I also hear them say that your heart sanctions your mind to be quiet, that your heart wishes that all of those coils and wheels that are playing tunes over and over again cease, and that there's a rest of the mind. Spirit is also saying that you need to forgive yourself, that for those of you who have unforgiveness, that it seems, Joanie is saying, that it is a block for getting in touch with what you know and what you need to know. So if you are not forgiving yourself and other, the chances are you will have a mishmash of answers, and you will not be growing in the way that you could be growing if you lighten your load and free yourself up with forgiveness work. Take time and practice, Spirit says. It won't be long. We'll all be seeing each other in a new light, and that this practice is available to everyone. It is ordained that you will be free, that your suffering will reverse, and you will be in touch with memories, and the solutions will come to you very, very quickly. For some of you, you might need to wash your hands, and for some of you, you might need to say a blessing before you eat. Certain things come grinding to a halt, and that in order for you to stop that process, it would be good for you to wash your hands. Maybe after this video, cool water and some soap. That might free you up. And for some of you, you're not feeling very well, so blessing the food that is on the plate or the dish will also assist. Many angels have sat you down and talked to you about this, that you get all worked up and revved up and your thinking is askew, and that you need to stop this. So for those of you who are analysts, those of you who are judges, those of you who stare and look and your head is going like this, and you're thinking and it's all negative, they're asking you to stop. You're hurting yourself and all of us, and we do not need your terror. We do not need your judgment. With grace, if you enter into another state of consciousness, you will be free of those thoughts. So with that being said, I hope that this video assists those of you who've been wondering about going into the mind versus going into the heart for your truth and your knowing. Again, it's been a pleasure, and you'll see me around. Bye, y'all.